What's up guys, it's Louis here, hope you're doing great. Today I'm here with Marleze from My Home Loans, and if you're a first time home buyer or a potential investor, this video is going to be for you. Marleze, thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited about today's video. Getting started, maybe you can share with us, what is it that a bond originator actually does?
So a bond originator is the middleman between your estate agent and the bank. So we will take all the paperwork, we will negotiate a better interest rate. With 20 to 21 years of experience, we can motivate from 80, 90 to 100%. So we've got the experience basically to get your deal from purchase to sold and to approved. So we try to minimize the paperwork, advise you what your income and expenses should look like. So definitely a quicker, easier way to apply for a home loan, as we've got direct bank consultants, so we don't phone the call centers. We've got dedicated bank consultants that basically gives us all the details if your application is declined, if it's approved, why it's a counter offer. So then we know what to motivate back.
Yeah, so you guys actually just do all the heavy lifting, all the administration. You make the process so much easier, and I know how much time it saves.
Yeah.
Imagine you had to go to every single bank and do all the work.
Imagine you have to go and stand in queue and phone the call centers.
Yeah, so it's the reason I like using a bond originator, and I'm sure this is a big advantage, is because you effectively leverage other people's time. You buy back your own time by using someone else's skills. And the coolest thing is, it's for free. You guys don't take commission from the buyer. Everything is for free.
Yeah, so we've got contracts with the banks. So the banks pay us on registration, and that's a once off. So it's not going for the next 20 years when you pay your bond. Otherwise, we would have all
be very wealthy.
Wealthy. So basically, it's a free service. Yeah.
So one of the questions that I was wondering about when I started, of course, I'm self-employed, and I get this question quite often. Is it possible for a self-employed person to get a loan from a bank, or someone with an irregular income?
Definitely. I think where people tend to lack is paperwork.
Yeah.
So if you're self-employed, get a good financial bookkeeper, accountant, and sit down with that bookkeeper and go through the income and the assets and the liabilities. I get that a lot where people say they make a lot of money, but when you look at the financial statements, it's a whole different story. Because we know we've got a set for SARS and we know we've got a set for finance. So you always need to make sure that the two is more or less the same. Yeah. But definitely 2 years financial statements for self-employed, which will be now 2023, 2024, up to date now 2025. It's financial or management account statements. And then the normal bank accounts, IDs, type of thing, but definitely not more difficult because you're self-employed. Just they want to paper trail.
Yeah, you need to be able to prove that you can afford the loan.
Yeah, just like when you're a salary earner, they want to see the income.
Prove your income
is going in the bank. Same with self-employed.
No, I like that you said that you need to understand your financial statements, because some people think they might be making money, and if you put everything down on paper, it tells a different story.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
Maybe your previous year was a loss, but it's because you've bought trucks and you've
reinvested capital or something.
So if you don't understand that, or you don't ask the questions, I mean, how is the credit managers going to understand what's going on here?
Absolutely. Marleze, what is some of the most common reasons applicants get rejected for their loans?
The most common, I would say, is we all know is ITC. So I would say the score is not the primary one. You need to have a score of 620 or a high score. It's when you default on your accounts, where you don't pay your clothing account of 20 Rand if you pay late or you pay less. I get it a lot where people say, but I didn't get my bill. I didn't get it. It was an email to me, and I was like, but you're buying clothes, so you pick up the phone, you find out. So if you can't do that, then that's your credibility to the bank, to the credit manager at the end.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you made the debt, you need to pay for it. So
Exactly.
you just need
You're
to
driving
service
the car, you know.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Yeah, I think payment history is obviously very important. If there's one tip that you can give us to improve your chances to get a loan from the bank, what would that be?
Begin with the pre-approval. No client's income is the same. No client's story is the same. We can definitely say, well, look, it's a 50-50. We don't make the decisions. We still present the application to the bank, and the bank has got the final say. But with the right documents, if you were divorced and there was issues and there wasn't payments, we can motivate that. And it's not that they won't look at it. So I think the best is to start with a pre-approval. Give us the story. Don't be scared to say, well, we were under debt review or we were sequestrated. Just give us the story and we can build something that when you present it, that the credit managers will be comfortable of your financial position now.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I think that's one of the reasons why I liked actually working with you in the beginning, is because my story or my situation was so much different than your average guy. But you guys understood what I'm trying to achieve and you understood my circumstances, and at the end of the day you motivated and obviously helped me acquire
especially
property.
If you do the financials, you know, what you said and what you drawed and what you can draw. It's just
it's effectively also building a type of connection or a network with your bond originator so that they can understand your situation. A question I get asked quite often is, can I get a loan as a low income earner? And of course there's some obvious stuff that you need to like pass before you can get a loan, but I'm not sure if you can give an example of a low-income loan that you guys have done recently, or is it possible for a low-income earner, or should they completely stay away from property?
No, I mean, it depends on, when I say low-income earners, what type of property you'll be getting. So there's two types of things. There's affordability and the value of the property. So if you're a low-income earner, it depends on how much the property will be. So you can earn 30,000 Rand a month, but you will buy for 500, doesn't make you a low income earner. But there is your FLISP that basically, I think from 3.5 up until 22, that assists with guarantees, which we can also do. Just to say, well, look, you fall in this bracket, if you apply for a FLISP, then you'll get 80,000 Rand, but you still need to buy the property, get the bank approval, and then FLISP basically only steps in as an add-on. But that's the thing why I say the pre-approvals is so important. We can definitely help to say you will qualify for the FLISP, so we can apply for the FLISP while we do a pre-approval and do everything together.
So you guys can actually assist people with the FLISP subsidy as well?
We can definitely, So they do ask us for the pre-approval, and we send it, you get a certificate. And at least now you know, if you don't get 100% loan, you can use part of your FLISP guarantee
for deposit
or for
transfer
for
or
bond costs and things.
Okay, so if I had to start today, and let's say I'm trying to buy a property in the next 6 to 12 months, what would you say I should do today to eventually actually get the loan in 12 months time?
Contact us. And that's what I hammer on the pre-approval, but nobody is same. Nobody's credit scores is the same. There's a lot of credit scores out there. I would do one for you, and you would do it at another place, and it would change. It would be different. But there isn't a right or wrong credit score. It's why is your credit score the way that you miss a few installments, but since then you've everything
so
is now
you technically
sorted.
Just need to assess your situation, assess what's going on and where can you improve.
Maybe you think it's bad, but when we look at it, it's not that bad. So I think it's just getting in contact with us and just like, let me have that talk and that credit score and and then from there on we can say, well, look, you need to wait 6 months or not even wait 3 months.
I always tell people it's quite obvious. You need a good credit score and affordability. You need a stable income or some sort of income, and of course disposable income is going to help you out at the end of the day. Most of the time I like to tell people that, you know, if they can't save a certain amount or have disposable income, property might not be the best investment at that stage. because obviously there's certain expenses and certain things that you need to cover for. So you need to be able to build yourself up to get to a point where you can afford property and where it makes sense to buy property, not just because you think property is a good investment. So a credit score, affordability, stable income, and disposable income will ultimately kind of just help you or get a loan much easier.
As easy as that, yeah.
So if I wanted to buy property today, you know, why wouldn't I just go to Standard Bank directly?
So nothing will stop you. Just from experience, I know that we will get a better interest rate. And my motto is we don't want to not keep our clients with the existing banks. We just want to have some leverage we can use to say, well, Standard Bank, we don't think your interest rates are the best because there's always the other three banks comparing and competing. They want the client.
Yeah, they want business.
So definitely we would try and keep you with Standard Bank as far as Standard Bank is the best bank. But I've seen it so many times that there's always another bank that comes with a better offer. And you use that. And 99% of the time, your own bank as well. Stop, we look at it, don't go. And that's what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you want.
So based on that answer, you know, how possible is it to get 100% loan from a bank? Obviously, it depends on your specific situation and your finances and everything. But I've seen people comment on my channel saying that I would never get a 100% loan in different entities or companies or a trust. Based out of your experience, how possible is it? I obviously know, but how possible is it to get a 100% loan?
No, it's possible. It's definitely possible. The bank wants to lend money. Yeah. It's not like they want to see every 90% because the deals won't go through. Yeah. They're keen on lending. They just want to make sure who they lend it to is good for it, even if it's in a company or in a trust, which I normally is like 80-90% of my business. And I see it every day. You know, your pay to buys get 100% approved. It's only when you start buying maybe your second, your third property, where the bank would say, okay, now it's time for you to put something in, because we can't just keep on having risk. But I mean, we've done 300%, 400%, 500% loans. Again, affordability, stability.
And that's where your structure can actually help you to secure more 100% loans.
Absolutely, yeah. You can buy more property because it's in a structure.
If you bought, let's say you got a 100% loan in your personal name, based out of your experience, let's say it's a middle income earner, how possible is it for that person to get a second or maybe a third property finance in their own name?
Yeah, I love my first time buyers, especially your lower income, where they would say, I just want to buy something just to invest. Yeah. And then we'll stop there and say, okay, well, have you heard about the company? Have you heard about the structure? Because then you can invest in more property. And so you can start growing your property portfolio. And then one day you'll own your own house. And I think there's also discussions, do you want to own your own house or grow your property portfolio, which is nice. But that's the thing. So give us your story. Tell us why you want to buy. And we can say, well, immediately, don't do it in your personal name.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of this and this and this.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marleze. I think it's quite interesting. I'm not sure if you want to share a bit of your company. Where can we find you? If I want to do a pre-approval, where do I get you guys?
So we've got a website. It's www.myhomeloans.co.za. On the website, we've got a contact tab. So just leave your details there. It's quite easy. And one of the consultants will phone you back and assist.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the second part where we will be talking about a few more advanced things. And thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one.